We're now going to continue discussing logic and discussing truth tables. So I'm going to begin just by reviewing the rules for the truth values. And I want to remind you that everything that we're going to do in this section is based on your understanding of these two charts, the charts for and or, which you should have in your notes by now. And also these two charts, the chart for if then and if and only if, which again should be written down somewhere in your notes so that you can use these charts to work the problems. So we're going to begin with two definitions. We're going to talk about what is called a tautology, which means that we construct a truth table and that the answers are true in every case. We're also going to talk about a self-contradiction, which means that we have constructed a truth table and our answers are false in every case. So let's begin with an example. So I'm going to begin with the compound statement, if P then Q, or if Q then P. And we're going to set up a truth table to go with this compound statement. So we know that all truth tables that have P's and Q's in them are going to start off with a P column and a Q column. In the P column, we're going to have true, true, false, and false. And in the Q column, we're going to alternate true and false. You want to keep in mind that this is the standard way to start a truth table, so it doesn't vary from one problem to the next. You will always begin with these two columns if your problem has just a P and a Q in it. Our next goal is to build the left side of the truth table. So we've got the P, we've got the Q. We're going to go ahead and put these together with an arrow in between. So my next column is going to be if P, then Q. So I'm going to copy to begin with. So underneath this P right here, I'm going to copy all of these P values. So I have T, T, F, F. Then I'm going to put the arrow that's in between. And then I'm going to copy the Q values. So those are going to come from right here. So TF, TF. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to determine the truth value for each of these four statements. And we're going to do that by looking at our if-then table, which I've got listed over here just for convenience, and we're going to write down the answers for these four statements. So it appears that the four statements are in exactly the same order as what we have over here. Our first statement is if T, then T, and we know that that one is true. Our second statement is if true, then false, and we know that that one is false. Then we have F arrow T, which is T, and we have F arrow F, which is going to be T. So what we have now accomplished is that we have done this part of the compound statement. So this part is done. All right, the next thing I need to work on is the right side of the compound statement. So again, I have a Q column, I have a P column already, but I don't have the column where I have the arrow in between. So I'm going to add that. So Q, arrow P, and again, we're going to do some copying. So we're going to come here and underneath this Q, we're going to copy our Q values down. So TF, TF. We're going to put our arrow in the middle. And then we need to copy the p-values. So underneath this p, I'm going to put these p-values. So TTFF. Now, once that's set up, again, I need to find the truth values for each of these statements. So again, I'm going to come off to the side and I'm going to use my chart to look up each of these solutions. So I know that the first one is going to be true. The second one, F arrow T, that's right here. That's also true. T arrow F is false. And F arrow F is true. So now we have finished the right side of the compound statement. So the only thing left is to put the left side and the right side together as one statement. So I'm going to go ahead and write the entire expression. And again, I'm going to need to do some copying first. So under this first parenthesis, I'm going to put these answers because this is what I got when I did P arrow Q. So T, F, T, T. Then I'm going to put my OR symbol in between. And then I'm going to copy what I got when I did Q arrow P. So that is these answers. So I'll copy them over. True, true, false, true. Now, these are all OR statements, and I need to come up with the truth value for each one. So again, I'm going to come off to the right here. I've copied my table over here so that we can easily look things up. We see that T or T, that's the first one. That one is going to be true. F or T, that's this one, also true. T or F, that's this one. That's also true. And then we have another T or T, which is also true. So what we have now, remember your final answer is the very last column that you got. So our final answer, notice that they are all trues. And if we look back at our definition, a tautology is something that's true in every case. All right, so for this example, we can say that this is a tautology. All right, let's try one more example. So on this example, again, we see that we have a compound statement that only has P's and Q's. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my truth table with my P and my Q column. Remember, the P column always has 2 trues and 2 falses. The Q column always alternates true, false, true, false. Then my first goal is to build the left side of the compound statement. So looking at what I have and what I need, I still need a not P. I need a negation of P. So I'm going to add that here. I'm also going to need a negation of Q. And then once I have those two, I'm going to need to put them together with the and symbol. So that's going to take care of the left-hand side. All right, let's go ahead and fill these in. So remember that the negation of P is basically taking this column and changing out the trues for falses. So doing the opposite of what we have in the P column. So instead of TTFF, we'll have FFTT. To do the negation of Q, we'll take the Q column and do the opposite of what we see there. So instead of true, false, we'll have false, true, false, true. Now we'll copy. So for the beginning, I'm going to have the negation of P, which means that I'm going to copy these values underneath that. So I'm going to do FF, TT. I'm going to put my symbol, which is the AND symbol. Then I'm going to do the negation of Q, which will be these values. So FT, FT. And then we need to determine what these statements have as their truth values. And so we'll be using the AND table and looking them up. So false and false is still false. False and true is also false. True and false is false. And true is true. So what we have done now is complete the left side of our compound statement. All right, let's go ahead and look at our right side now. So on the right side, we already have a P column and we already have a Q column. So the only thing I don't have is a column that does P or Q. So let's go ahead and put that together. Again, I need to start with some copying. So underneath this P, I'm going to copy the P values. So TTFF. I'm going to put my symbol. And then underneath the Q, I'm going to copy the Q values. So TF, TF. And again, now I need to figure out the truth value for these four statements. So we'll do our OR chart. T or T is true. T or F, also true. F or T, true. And F or F is false. So now we've completed the right side of the compound statement. So I have the left side done and the right side done. The only thing left is to put the two sides together into one statement. So I'm going to write here the entire statement. And we'll start off by doing some copying. So we're going to begin with this part, which we calculated to be these answers right here. So I'm going to copy those down, FFFT. I'm going to put my symbol in. My symbol is the AND symbol. And then I'm going to put the answers that I got when I did P or Q. So those answers would be here. So TTTF. And now I need to find the answers, the truth values for these four statements. So these are AND statements. So I'm back up here. The first one is F and T. That one is false. We also have another F and T. We have another F and T. And then the last one is true and false. That one is also false. Again, remember that your answer to a truth table is the very last column. So as we can see, in the very last column, we have nothing but false statements. So this is a self-contradiction. False in every case. So you want to remember that if it's true in every case, it is a tautology. If it's false in every case, it is a self-contradiction.